Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Tyro. I'm your host, Donald Wonder, and we've got some more anime talk. I mentioned on the last few anime reviews that we're going to be doing my little unfinished business reviews of the ones I've written off now. And this title we're going to speak about today, which is called DENNOU COIL, is actually celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year. So it's actually good timing for me to talk about this one. And this was a fan favorite for a lot of people. But I will say, this was something that was a bit different for me because this, I would dare say, for the first half is slice of life. And I mean, I don't need to watch intense story-driven stories all the time. But I have to say, man, I remember when I watched this back in, 2000, I think it was 2010 when I watched this, actually. I didn't watch it at the time it was airing. I was expecting a lot from this anime. But as I watched it, I realized it wasn't what I was expecting. This is more laid back. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I'm doing something that's not story-driven per se, because the concept of this anime has a lot of social aspects that are relevant to today. So that's enough for the intro. Let me get into this. So guys, if you don't know what DENNOU COIL is about, DENNOU COIL is set in the year 2026. It's set on a group of young children that are using a massively popular new type of technology that are these computer glasses. And when you put on these glasses, you interface with reality in an augmented reality interface. You know, it's basically Google Glasses, which is now out. And you know, even though today in real life we're dealing with VR, this anime is dealing with augmented reality. You know, Google are still working on augmented reality. But when this anime came out, in real life, augmented reality was still just in this developing phases of becoming a commercial product. And to be honest with you, even if you look today, augmented reality still hasn't taken off as much as we're trying to push virtual reality. So it's very interesting this anime took this approach, and this anime was very interesting to see these young children take this concept and run with it in a very social way. And that's one of the biggest appeal to the anime. Now, before I get into the actual story, because there is an overarching story, it's not just slice of life, even though it seems that way. Now, first of all, the animation is done by Madhouse. I've been speaking a lot about Madhouse titles recently, and this was another one they did. And apparently, back in 2007, well, this anime was actually in production for 10 years. This was a big deal in Japan at the time. This was being aired at a big time slot. A lot of people were looking forward to this anime. And again, at the time, if you're talking about augmented reality in 2007, I mean, I don't even think that iPad was out around that time, or the iPhone. So again, this anime was somewhat forward thinking. And when I talk about the animation style in particular, by today's standards, the character designs in particular are a little bit dated. They are children, but I don't really like the way their faces look. It's kind of very soft and very round, and you know, it's not so cutesy. And there are some good things with the background, and especially the augmented reality parts. Those parts are animated well, but this is an anime that's starting to show its age, to be honest with you. The animation hasn't aged greatly, but it's still watchable. I still like the animation. So going on to the sound, the first thing I'll say is at the time I watched this anime, there was no English dub. Now there is, and this is another anime that I was really hoping they would get dubbed because it's geared towards a younger audience. A lot of it is slice of life, and just taking away the need to watch subtitles if you're English speaking first language is better. And to be honest with you, I watched the 3 episodes again in dub. I like the dub. This is perfect in dub. This is much better in dub because a lot of this is slice of life fun. And let me get to the story before I get to the characters. Now, the story, as I said before, has got to do with these children dealing with this augmented reality. And for the first 13 episodes, you're watching these kids have battles, collecting bots. You're understanding the science of this world. And it's interesting. Even now, even though we've meddled with augmented reality, you know, Google Glasses, Google VR, we're meddling that today. It's still interesting to see in this anime, in this year 2026, which is not far from 2017, it's 9 years away. It's interesting to see them fully immersed in this concept. And the way the anime handles all the minutiae, all the finer details, is pretty interesting, but not so far-fetched now. And it's an interesting look. But I will say, at the time I was watching this anime, the way people were praising this anime, I was waiting for the ball to drop. And I have to say, man, a criticism for the story is it takes us time to get to the bigger picture. I mean, for the first 13 or 14 episodes, you're literally seeing these kids play around with augmented reality, play these games on each other. It's kind of fun, it's somewhat immersive, but it's kind of childish. These characters are under 11, and the characters are fun to watch. They're all, just kids, and that's all fun and good. But it's a 26 episode anime, and you're like, okay, is there a bigger story, or am I just watching a slice of life? So I was kind of frustrated. So by episode 14, the ball does drop. There's something going on, augmented reality. There's even a murder mystery hinted at there as well. The main character, this female character, she's a very mousy, kind of softy character, kind of annoyed me, but she gets tied into it. And that second half of the story got me invested, and that was a bit interesting. Honestly, I kind of wish that they didn't start with so much slice of life, or I don't know, there was more mystery in the beginning, or this was a 2-act series where the first act dealt with one story and then the second act dealt with another one, because just this kids running around playing with the technology, that could have been a backdrop. That didn't need to be the main focus. So I don't want to say I was misled, but I was expecting the amount of hype and the amount of praise the show was getting at the time. I was expecting a lot more. But, as I was watching it, I kind of thought to myself, oh, maybe this is just a slice of life technology thing. And I like technology. I'm a technician myself. So I found it interesting anyway at the time. So after the ball drops on 14 and, we find out the bigger plot, which has got to do with, no spoilers, the main girl and forgotten memories and da-da-da-da-da-da. You kind of seen this before. It's okay. It's somewhat interesting, but it never really breaks a certain depth I would have hoped for, but it does get a little bit intense. So I was expecting more, and thinking about it now, going through it very quickly in my mind and, reading the reviews, people don't really talk about this anime much. Even though last year it did get the dub, in Japan, this anime was a big deal. Over here, it's somewhat respected, but this is another kind of niche slice of life anime that nowadays is happening all the time. Slice of life anime with just a bit of, fiction or spazazz just to enhance the story. But I don't know, man. This one, as a technician, I enjoyed it on a conceptual level. I'm glad it's got a dub now. But it's kind of just an easy watch. Don't expect anything. This is the kind of anime you can watch with a younger audience. And, anime is so perverted and so crazy sometimes. It's nice to have something with a bit of a higher concept that isn't so violent, that does touch on a serious topic, and that does immerse you in its ideals. So I'm being a little bit more forgiving because I was a bit presumptuous expecting more from this anime, and it does get a bit deeper than... It does get deeper, and that made me happy, but I was expecting more. And to be honest with you, the amount of high super praise, I'm not sure if that's unjustified. So as a rating, I would give it, it's just okay. If you come in with the right expectations, this is fine. If you watch this in English dub, this is fine, but it's not spectacular. The animation is dated a little bit. The augmented reality spin in 2007 would be more cool than it is now. When we're so much closer to these things, we're using these technologies. But I still respect the anime, and it's still celebrating its 10th year. And actually, I think this is based off a light novel that's still running to this day. So it's an easygoing story. You can watch this with your children or watch this with your younger nephews, and I would, because it's interesting. This is an interesting story with nice immersion with the concept, but maybe could have been a bit deeper. But it's a young shonen story. It's not really trying to be anything super actiony or anything. So it is what it is. I think the best thing to say. It is what it is. I remember being disappointed at the time, but now I appreciate it for what it is. But saying that anyway, it's not outstanding. So it's just okay. As I said before, sorry if I'm just repeating myself, but this is one that, looking at it, rewatching it a little bit again, and just going through my mind, it's just interesting to see if my opinion had changed. And honestly, it hasn't, but I'm glad there's a dub now. Anyway guys, this is another one that was somewhat requested. What did you think of it? Have you seen this? Now it's in English dub. Have they aired it in your country? Have you seen it on TV? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Love it, hate it, completely disagree with me. Share your thoughts. As you know, I sweep up these other few little anime discussions that I made on the written form that I'm giving you guys my video thoughts on. So anyway guys, hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And until the next one, I'll leave it at that. Take care. Peace out.